Welcome my dear students of class 8A and 8B to my civics class. Today I shall introduce you a new lesson number 1. The name of the lesson is the Union Legislature. The Union Legislature. The points as I mentioned in the board, please look at it. Number 1, introduction. Number 2, organs of the government. Number 3, the legislature. Number 4, the executive. Number 5, the judiciary. Number 1, introduction. Running the government of a country involves various responsibilities, such as security of citizens, healthcare, education, sanitation, housing facilities and others. The taxes which are collected by the government from the citizens are used for various works. For example, welfare programs, developmental programs, administration, defense. So these are the works done from the taxes collected from the citizens. And these functions and programs are taken care by various institutions that ensure that they are proper functioning. The entire framework of our country runs through 3 most important institutions. These 3 most important institutions are the organs of the Indian government, namely legislature, executive and judiciary. Legislature, executive and judiciary. These are the 3 most important organs of the Indian government: legislature, executive and judiciary. So each and every work of our country is done through these 3 important organs: the executive, the legislature, the executive and the judiciary. Now the entire framework of our country also runs on 3 institutions: the legislature, the executive and judiciary. Now what is the legislature? What do you mean by the legislature? Legislature means a body of the political representatives who generally form the body after being elected directly by the people. That means people first elect their representatives by casting their votes. So a number of political representatives after being elected by the votes of the people, they form the legislature. That means the government is formed in the state level and in the center, and then the legislature also is formed. This legislature starts working all kinds of developmental works and whatever they assure before the people before vote, they just try to realize it. They just try to fulfill the hopes and expectations of the people, whatever they make before vote. So each and every legislature has the right to establish influence over executive. Number 1. Number 2, legislature enacts laws also. Legislature makes all the necessary arrangements for smooth running of the government. Besides, since it includes political representatives, and since political representatives are elected by the people, Naturally, it enacts laws for the country. It controls the income and expenditure of the government. It levies taxes, and it also controls executives. So these are the important functions of the legislature. Now question is, how can legislature control the executives? The executive is the independent body. The executive is the independent body. But sometimes the executives are forced to do work under the pressure of the legislature. The legislature, is the body of the elected political representatives. So elected political representatives always try to establish their political influence over the executive. During the time when they enact laws, during the time when they, frames various policies, that means while framing various policies, the executive is bound to follow the instructions of the legislature. And under the instruction of the legislature, the executive can work. So in that sense, the executive cannot work independently. The executive is worked under the influence of the political representatives, means the legislature. But the judiciary, as per the system of the constitution, judiciary can work independently. There will be no influence over the judiciary by the executive and the legislature. That means the executive can work independently, but the executive has to work under compulsion. The executive has to work under the political influence of the legislature. But the judiciary does not have any political influence. The judiciary can work independently. And next, the executive. The executive, what are the functions of the executive? The functions of the executives are to execute laws and policies passed in the legislative chamber. It looks after the administration of the country and implements the laws. It looks after the administration of the country. It implements the laws. Various types of laws are required to be passed. In that case, the executive plays an important role in consultation with various political parties, in consultation with the head of the government. The executive insists on passing one act so that the government can run more smoothly, and no public grievance is arised before the government, and government must not be attacked by the people or the representatives in the House of Parliament. That's why the role of the executive also is important. So the executive works always on behalf of the government, and there is a good good understanding between the executive and the legislature. And another point is that the entire administrative system is looked after by the executive. Although the role of the legislature, the legislature depends on the executive, and the executive shoulders all the responsibilities of the entire administrative system. That's why the entire administrative system runs smoothly because of the skills and talents of the executives. And next one, the judiciary. What is judiciary? The judiciary, my dear student, is another organ of the government of India. The judiciary administers justice, implements the laws, and protects the fundamental rights of the citizens. It works through all the courts of law at different levels in the country. As I mentioned earlier, the judiciary is an independent organ of the government. The judiciary works through different courts of different levels in the country. It works from the lower courts. It works from the high courts, upper courts. It works from the district level courts. It works from the subdivisional level courts. It works from the high court, and it works as the Supreme Court of the country. So courts are of different kinds, different types, and case studies which are generally done in different courts. It varies from court to court, but the main gist of providing verdict by the judges are of equal value, because the Constitution of India and its articles are thoroughly consulted by the judges, and as per the articles mentioned in the Constitution, each and every verdict is given by the judges from lower court to upper court. Now the question is, what are the other functions of the judiciary? The judiciary ensures law and order of the country. The judiciary protects the security of the citizens, especially when they go to court. The judiciary protects the fundamental rights of the citizens. Fundamental rights of the citizens are very important. As per the Constitution, each and every citizen has his fundamental rights. Whenever these fundamental rights are violated, a citizen can go to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court can protect his fundamental rights. And that's why each and every person, each and every citizen has the right to move for any court, and Supreme Court is the highest court of India, highest court of appeal of our country. So a person who is not satisfied with the entire judicial system, the person can go directly to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court can give the final verdict, and the final verdict which is given by the Supreme Court, no one can challenge it, no one can go against it, except that the special cases for the President of India, but the judgment of the Supreme Court is final. Up to this, my dear student. Thank you.